Master Chief was almost choked to death, and not in the fun way. Not many people know about Chief's encounter with a brute that was only seconds away from killing him. Plus, today we're gonna go over a really cool fact about Spartans encountering brutes. You're not gonna want to miss it. Audible is offering all Halo followers a free audiobook. There's tons of Halo lore novels to choose from. Just visit the link down in the description to sign up. Master Chief is a 1,200-pound killing machine built by humanity's finest and smartest scientist, a Spartan 2, one of the strongest warriors ever developed by mankind. And I don't gotta tell you on all the crazy ass things he's pulled off. And yet, despite all of this, Master Chief has come close to death many times. During the ball in Halo 1, read from Halo Flood, he was almost infected when hit across the head with a wrench by a Flood soldier, and an infection form that would jump on him, pierce his skin with its razor-sharp tentacles, almost killing him and infecting him. Not in the fun way, but of course at the last moment was saved by Cortana overcharging his suit. We also have all the events in the games like blowing up the ring just in time, fighting the Flood, blowing up a cruiser, crashing down on Earth, and escaping the Ark while fighting Sentinels and the Parasite. But Chief actually almost died between Halo 1 and 2 by a brute, and it's not very well known about this specific incident, so let's go ahead and get into it. Read from Halo First Strike, Master Chief, Fred, the recently recovered Linda, whom technically died just before, as well as a few other Spartans, infiltrated a refit and repair station named the Unyielding Hierophant, with over 500 Covenant ships being prepared to invade Earth. With the intent to find the fusion reactor, the Spartans would go off and blow up the station. Now, I already went greatly into this topic about how Blue Team managed to kill millions of Covenant in one day, and really, it was the biggest kill spree any Spartans ever had. It was a multi-million Jaro, and just a few Spartans and people managed to kill more Covenant in one day, and even the UNSC with all of its might, some Marines, soldiers, and warships in one single day. Maybe all besides the downfall of High Charity in Halo 2. But during this mission of destroying the Unyielding Hierophant and the 500 ships around it, Blue Team would lurk in the shadows and hide and try to get to the nuclear reactors within the ship without being detected. But of course, they ran into trouble and they were ambushed by brutes here. A split Cortana fragment that was with the team had separated herself earlier to deal with a threat here. And this split Cortana told Chief that there were ceremonial guards in the temple, a race that they had not encountered before, the brutes. So this is where the lore gets a little tricky. Keep in mind that the books Halo Fall of Reach and First Strike, which First Strike is the one we're referencing today, can get a little bit confusing due to lore issues and canon issues, but technically this happens after Halo 1 but before Halo 2 between those two games. But the AI fragment said they shouldn't be a significant threat or they would have been used in previous military situations. Well, they were in Reach, but yeah, that's for another video. But John was still wary because the nickname Brute was concerning to him, as it should be. While navigating the hallways, Chief took point, moved up to a building by a column, and he detected a quick red dot on his motion sensor just ahead, but it quickly vanished. John discreetly told his team, Blue Team, behind him to stop and freeze. He pulled out a frag grenade and noticed the advancing creature whipped around just by John's column as he was using for cover, and it moved faster than an elite. In fact, it moved just as fast as Master Chief. He fired right at the figure at point blank range, but it didn't stop, it only screamed with rage. Will and Fred jumped into action and fired bursts from their battle rifles. Each bullet successfully impacted the brute. Then, as this was happening, 3 explosions behind Blue Team went off and Grace's biosign alarm shrieked, and John took notice. They now realized that they were all being ambushed, and the brute had come out of the shadows that they shot at and stood above John about 10 feet high, much buffer, wider, and taller than any elite that John had faced before. The brute's mouth was lined with razor-sharp teeth, and the brute's eyes peeled with red glowing hatred, and blood trickled down from the bullet holes that Blue Team put into the beast's chest. And the brute tackled John, knocking his weapon out of his grasp, and even his Monier armor, his Spartan armor, was no match for the brute's might. That right there, reading from Halo First Strike, is mind-blowing. Okay, we're not done, but I just want to talk about that real quick. That is the fact I was referring to at the beginning of this video, that Brute Sar, or at least this one, was stronger than Spartan armor. It kind of reminds me about how Atriox kicked Red Team's ass in Halo Wars 2 to see how big and tough brutes really are compared to some of humanity's best soldiers, the Spartan 2s, and that's really shocking, alright? Stronger than Spartan armor. Sure, this may have changed in the lore, but I doubt it because, I mean, look at the Halo Wars 2 scene. I mean, brutes are pretty well matched against Spartan 2s. That's just unbelievable. In Halo lore, we're led to believe constantly, it's reinforced that Spartan armor is extremely strong and versatile and fast, and so are the Spartans that are using the armor, but you know, mostly in comparison with average soldiers or grunts, right? But when Spartans face elites, and especially brutes, and especially angry ones, and they can barely fend them off, well, that's just crazy. And that's really just a testament to how powerful the Covenant really were. Anywho, the Master Chief is kind of screwed here. The brute starts pounding on him with his bare fist, starts punching him straight into his armor and breaking his shielding, and actually grabbed Chief's neck and began to squeeze him, right? And Chief started suffocating. He started being choked to death and began to black out. So Master Chief, as he was being choked out, he wiggled, he squirmed, he struggled to do everything he can, attempting to get the brute's hand off his throat so he wouldn't suffocate and die, but to no avail. The muscles on this alien were practically solid bands of steel. There was no breaking free, so it looked like this brute was born to kill Master Chief, this Spartan specifically. And as it says, he was extremely determined to rip John's head clean off, which was evident from the fact that Blue Team threw an entire clip of a battle rifle into him and it didn't even slow him down. While being choked to death, John noticed that Blue Team was distracted. They were busy dealing with the new Covenant attackers that had started ambushing the team. So John knew that he had to deal with this threat by himself, and he knew that soon he would be strangled to death if he didn't take the right action, and he would only have one chance to do so. So at this point, John was just biding for time, waiting for his shields to slowly recharge on his Spartan armor so that he could use that as a repulsive force to get out of the brute's grip. But if John moved too fast and fought back, the brute would double down its grip and pound his shields dead again, in which he would certainly be dead. So now the brute put both of his hands on Chief's throat, really just trying to squeeze the life out of him. He leaned in and started growling, trying to kill the demon, with spit flying onto Chief's visor, and Chief started to gag to death. His shields came to 1/4 charge, so it was either now or never. John thought about how he was in similar death grips before in his endless time of UNSC training. He remembered different counter moves he could do, and it was like a game of chess. So John quickly put his knees to the brute's chest, tucked his torso inwardly by his pelvis. He twisted 90 degrees and shot out his arms and legs. It was a technique called shrimping. John jumped free from the death grip and took advantage of the brute's moment of confusion. He put his elbow down to the base of the brute's neck, swept its elbow, turned the joint around and pushed it as far as it would go. John scissored his legs wide and pushed against the floor, leveraging his body to keep the brute pinned, and the alien tried to escape, but John quickly clutched a frag grenade, flicking the arming pin, and thrusted it into the brute's belt and withdrew. So the brute dropped onto the floor, screamed with rage, and a second later, boom, he exploded. Master Chief recovered from the flight, jumped to his feet, and turned to look for Blue Team so he could carry out the plan of the unyielding Hierophant. Snag yourself a free audiobook with Audible's 30-day free trial, link down in the description. I recommend getting a Halo audiobook, of course, because I'm obsessed with Halo, but really you could choose one of millions of different books. Just visit the link down below. If you enjoyed, then please hit that subscribe button, and of course hit the notifications bell if you already subscribed, because of course YouTube subscriptions don't show up on YouTube Home anymore. I don't know why, but that's just what we're working with now. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your time individually, and of course collectively. You guys are freaking awesome, and I will see you in the next one soon. All right, so peace.